Hello, YouTube. This is going to be a World of Warcraft Smash or Pass doing non-playable humanoid races. And yeah, so I've got a big list here of images showing the humanoids, and we're just going to go through. We're going to decide whether or not we would smash these non-playable WoW races or pass on them. If you've never played Smash or Pass, Smash is just, engage in intimate sexual activities, and Pass is saying no thanks, don't want to do that. Yeah, we'll just get right into this. And we're starting with gnolls here, as you can see. I don't know if you can see. Gnolls, all right. Clearly, I think that most people would look at gnolls and think like, man, that's a lot of teeth. There's a lot going on here. Not a huge fan. But I think that what you're missing out on here is like what their normal weaponry and stuff is. So if you think about it, like gnolls use a lot of flails and other things like that. So I am guessing, I'm willing to bet, that if there was any non-playable WoW race that was really into like S&M, BDSM, yeah, that it would be gnolls, man. And like that, the cackle would go right along with that. And I know not everybody's into BDSM, but I think that it is like a popular venue, I should say, yes. And I think gnolls would just be, they would be the go-to, right? And for that reason, I feel like they have to be a Smash, right? Like, just because they're going to cornerstone that market. They got it. They're good. They know what they're up to, right? Easy. Next one, Kobolds. All right. Kobolds, on the other hand, not as fun. Pickaxe, not a fun utility item, I don't think. You'd have to be into have much weirder kinks, I would want to say. Also, kobolds, right? We'll get past the appearance thing, right? Judge it as you will. The fact that they are like always keeping the candles lit, right? I realize that candles are a vibe, but I feel like always wanting the lights to be on is like when you're having to stare at this, it's not a good situation, right? Like, so I think that all those things combined, right? Like keeping the lights on, the sounds they make, what they look like, I think it's for me, it's an easy pass. Oh. Easy pass. You're not going to centrally blow out the candle. I don't think they'll let you. That's my whole thing. Is I think kobolds are like, take candle, blow out candle. You're going to stare at me through this whole thing. And I cannot get behind that. I think that's just too much for me. So I'm going to pass. All right. Next up, we have murlocs. I feel like this image does murlocs a lot more justice than it should, right? But like, let's be real here. Murlocs have a lot going against them. The smell, for one thing, before you even see them, you're gonna smell them coming. And then you got the wild eyes, right? You got the teeth, and you got the sounds they make, man. I think it's all too much. I think there's too much negative there. I have a hard time seeing any positives. The sounds are the allure. I disagree. I think sounds are one of the things that I cannot get past. So I'm gonna pass on the Merc. So next up we have Quillboar. Another one where sounds is definitely a key element here, right? I know that a lot of these humanoids, they share certain characteristics with certain animals, and Quillboar obviously share a lot of characteristics with swine, with pigs, and I feel like that's a no-go for me. But that's not even the main critique I have of the Quillboar, the sounds they make, or even the way that they look, right? I think the thing that really gets me with the Quillboar is that so often they seem to be like very cultish, very into cults, very cult membery vibes, right? And while like there are benefits to get involved sexually with cults, right? The group sex, the orgies, you know, we've all been there. It's a good time. But I think it really gets awkward when like the pre and post is just filled with this like recruitment material and everything. And I just have a hard time getting past that, right? At some point they weasel out your mailing address and they start sending you like brochures and other shit, and you just can't get away from it, right? Can't get away from it. So for me, Kobolds are also going to be a pass. Yeah, the Quill's not that big of a... Harpies, very sexy. One of the sexier non-playable races by a hefty margin, I would say. I mean, just look at them. They're great. If it was just about appearances, I think this would be an easy smash. But when you dive into what's going on with Harpies, it's tough, man. It's tough because there's no such thing as a male Harpy, right? So you ask yourself, like, okay, well then where do Harpies come from? Well, in order for Harpies to bake some bread, they gotta get some special sauce, and that sauce can come from any male humanoid. And oftentimes they acquire that against that male's interests, right? Talking about forcing themselves on males, right? And like nobody likes that vibe, right? Like you don't like it's one thing to go home with a Harpy back to the nest for a great night of fun. It's another to wake up the next morning hogtied knowing that they're just going to be milking you, you know? Until you lose use, you know, and then they hit you. They kick you out, but not just kick you out. Like they get rid of you. So I feel like any group that's kind of got that mentality behind them, that are just not into consent, that's got to be a pass, right? It's 2025, man. Consent is poggers, some might say. We're passing Harpies. Centaur, very muscular, great physiques, right? Always running around. You won't catch Centaur using like the wheel, you know, they don't need it. They got 4 legs. Centaur, pretty aggressive, right? But also like clearly have like some care to them, right? They've got like pet hyenas and other stuff, right? There's something about them, I think, that they can be sensual in a way. And I think we can get past the bottom half thing, right? I think that there's it's just more to love, you know. So for me, Centaurs, and this might end up becoming a bit of a pattern here with the 4-legged people, but we're gonna smash. Oh yeah, smash the Centaurs. We have a foot thing. Well, we might have a hoof thing, right? Might have a hoof thing. Ogres. Now, ogres, you know, you might look at this ogre and think, that is one full cup of sex right there. That is an absolute beautiful thing that you would want to roll around with. And I get it. I'm with you. If it was just this guy right here, I'd be all over it. But you got to remember, there's those 2-headed ogres. And my whole thing with with this is that like you got it's take them or leave them, all of them, right? You can't just say like, oh, I would only be into the one-headed ogres. That's not appropriate. I'm talking about all ogres here, but I think I have a hard time with the two-headed ogres because it's like, whose eyes do you stare deeply into when you're doing it? Whose ears are you whispering into? You know, who's like who are you talking to? Is there too much going on? And I feel like there's a lot of confusion there, right? In terms of like in the moment type of thing. You'd think like maybe the two heads would be nice, but it's two heads, one body. And I think for me, like if it was just one-headed ogres, I think it would be easy. It'd be an easy smash. But because I got to factor in the two-headed ogre. Sorry. Up next, the makrura. They're just crab people, right? I'm trying to find a positive here. They are humanoids, but they're just big crabs. And I feel like you'd have a hard time with this one. What's up, Wendy? Yeah, we're doing a smasher pass. I have a hard time finding, like, the smell's bad. The claws, yeah. No one's ever been gripped by a claw of a crab and thought, like, I really like this. I really feel good. Bring butter, man. We're not gonna sensually eat the things, man. Come on, dude. All right. So for me, the makrura are a pass. This next one, though, I think really sets the standard for what we're doing here. The Naga. I mean, look at them. They're badass. They're sexy. The hissing is just like a sexy whisper, right? They move elegantly. I feel like there's no downsides here, right? You want to talk about bringing the butter? Like, let's bring the butter. Let's make a meal out of this. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I even have to go very far into it. Like, I don't know how anyone is passing on Naga. This is just clearly what this whole thing is about. Not gonna lie. Let's smash it. Easy. Ish. All right. Next up, we have owl beasts, right? Owl beasts here, I think. I mean, I think this is an interesting one because obviously, like, they're big, they're cuddly, they're there for a good time. You know, I'd love to be embraced by an owl beast, but I feel like the beak, yeah, top tier cuddles, absolutely. But I feel like the beak is hard to get around, man. Hard to get around. Yeah, it'd feel pretty uncomfortable putting anything of any value into that beak. To put it lightly, I guess. So for me, owl beasts are gonna be a pass. Sorry, Wendy. Yeah, they probably, I mean, yeah, they would have a good initial burst and then there would be nothing left there. Yeah, for sure. Classic. Oh man, I can't remember what these guys are called. But man, look at their skin. Look at the face. God, they're sexy. God, they're hot. The troggs, yes, of course. No, seriously. Troggs? You kidding me? Not in all my years would I stoop to such a level. We're passing. Passing on Troggs. To no one's surprise, right? To no one's surprise. Alright. This next one, though. Firewalkers. I mean, Firewalkers, you didn't know, these are a humanoid race in World of Warcraft. They're just hot Naga, right? These are just like lava Naga. Literally hotter Naga. That's all that they are. Yeah. They are pretty spicy. Yes. I don't like easy smash. If you'd smash Naga, there's no way you wouldn't smash these two. 100%. Easy. Easy. Furbolgs. Now, furbolgs, you'd think, okay, they've got all the benefits of the owlkin, plus, like, you know, no beak and maybe some stamina. But my whole, okay, hear me out here on furbolgs, right? Every time we've interacted with furbolgs in the game, it's like, it's such a transactional thing. Like, in many cases, they won't even be your friend unless you, like, massacre, like, other furbolgs, right? And even then, they're like, all right, we'll let you hang out around here, but we're not going to even barter with you. So I feel like the things that you would have to go through, the terrible things you would have to do in order to actually, like, get into bed with a furbolg, like, how much are you willing to compromise yourself? How transactional are you willing to be here? Because they're not going to give it away. They're going to make you work for it. And you know what? I just, like, I have a hard time, right? I can't even do, like, strip clubs because I feel like I just pay these girls to do all these things, and I'm just aware of it. Can't forget handing that money over. Same type of thing here. I can't get past how transactional they are culturally. That's a pass from me. All right. Next. Oh, wow. Wow. We got Dryads, aka sons and daughters, scenarios. That's, like, again, easiest smash of my life, right? I know that people are gonna look at them and be like, man, they're probably a little crunchy, little granola-y, but, like, all of these things live out in Azeroth. They're all a little crunchy. Dryads are just like, this is just cut and dry. Again, one of the reasons that we're here. Easy, easy, easy. No problems there. Next up, we have Asmongold. Oh, I mean, ghouls. I didn't want to include these. I know that they are not technically humanoid, but, you know, just because. Just to give some more, so just a wider breadth of what's going on. I know some people are into the whole necrophilia thing. Not me personally, and I don't think it's appropriate. And I kind of want to make that stance right here and now, just so people know where I'm at with that. So I'm going to pass on the Asmongold's, aka the ghouls. He is balding. You could see it. Pass. Yetis. Man, Yetis. Yeah, the Asmongols. Yetis, again, like, this is sort of the epitome of, like, owlkin, but without the negative side effects, right? You want to talk about, like, a big, comfortable embrace, you know? Some cuddling after the coitus. That's what Yetis are all about, man. Look at, and they're gonna take care of you, right? Look at these Yetis. They got caves, right? They have an actual place to go. Not like some of these things. Some of these things you're just like, what are we up to here? We're out in the open. Yeah, they can host. Smash. Absolute. Overheated? I mean, I would definitely get real overheated with a Yeti. For sure. For sure. Another off the wall one. Nerubian. Right? Now this one, I mean, it's tough, right? They're a little spooky, for sure. No, I don't know. Again, where are we at here? I think my arachnophobia would kick in. I'd have a real hard time here, right? I don't think there's a lot of sensual activity going on with these folks. I mean, yeah, this is one of those, like, I'm putting past, but, like, you know, the right night, drinking the right things, you know, it might be, something might happen, but I'm not telling you guys that. All right, Lost Ones. Okay. Lost One, this is a bit of a tough one, right? Because it's not really their fault that they look and sound the way that they do. Um, but they do have they do live in a swamp. They do seem pretty gross and grim. Um, I think that I mean, yeah, the tough thing is like you are one step away from female Draenei, which are probably the hottest thing in World of Warcraft. But you know, being one step away from female Draenei is still a big step. Yeah, it might be too big of a step. So I think we're passing on the Lost Ones. Sorry, it's like you lost out on more than just your race and life. All right, Satyrs. Now, Satyrs, I feel like this is a step in the right direction for the hoofed ones among us. You don't see a lot of female Satyrs, let me tell you. They're just as hot as the males, right? I think Satyrs are, I mean, they're a demon more than a humanoid, but I'm okay with it. Dryads, but no second set of legs. Yeah, right. I mean, they got big hands. Lots you can do with big hands. I think Satyrs are peak smash. No question. Look at those arms. Rippling biceps. Speaking of big arms, the tuskar. Now, I feel like initially with tuskar, I was like, nah, man, it'd be like diddling your grandparents or something, right? They're so homely but I found this image and I just cannot get past just the fucking the stature of this beautiful beast. Like, I don't know. If you wanted to get like held gently by something in Azeroth, like now I'm starting to think that it would be the tuskar. Right? I used to think, nah, they're just like a bunch of old fishermen. They probably don't smell super good. What do you do with the tusks, right? In that scenario. But now I'm thinking like, man, they are just all power, all muscle. And that's for me, like that means a lot, right? I'm into taking self-care, self-care. We smashed the tuskar. Oh yeah. The Qiraji, right? Qiraji to me are along the same vein as the Harpy. Like sexy for sure. Even masked, right? A little bit of a guessing game. Like, ooh, who's behind the mask, But without what I would say are like rapey tendencies of the Harpy. And I think that makes the Qiraji the counterpart to the Harpy in that regard. So for me, I mean, they can fly, obviously, very sexy. What are they hiding? I don't know, but I want it. I think it's a solid smash. Solid. Like, yeah, I'd like to meet their old god. Arakkoa. Yeah, this is sort of like the Lost Ones, right? Because the arakkoa that we run into in TBC are like kind of a deformed version of their like ancestors. But man, I just my initial thought here is like, man, I don't know if I can get past the squawking, right? And I feel like they're a bit deformed, a bit hunchy, Like I don't, I like to know like what kind of maneuvers we're gonna be doing, and I feel like with the arakkoa, it's like a toss up between like, oh, they're like gonna fall apart, or they're gonna be, moving in a weird way. It's gonna make things uncomfortable. the feathers I feel like are a plus for sure. We don't really have any other feathered things. But for me, I think the arakkoa are going to be a pass just because, you know, the sound they make, the general movement of them all, you know, because there's a dance that happens in the bedroom. And I feel like you want to know what your partner's doing anytime you're dancing. And I just don't know what they're doing, man. There's some shiftiness behind those eyes. Sea giants. I mean, first off, great sense of fashion. Wonderful to have. Wonderful at a party. These guys clearly know who they are. Right? They do have the fish vibe to them and everything like that. They probably don't smell super great. They have a lot of, you know, additional things going on. Who knows how much of this stuff is there on purpose versus like they're on accident. The fact that they are giants, that's probably a little bit of a takeaway, because like, or maybe it's not. Maybe you want to get lost in there, you know what I'm saying. But I feel like I'm not a big fish fan, you know. I feel like something that big, it's gonna be hard to get past the smell. It's gonna be hard to get past it. So I'm gonna pass. Pass on the sea giant. Now this next one, what are they? Vrykul, which are basically just big humans, from Wrath of the Lich King, and you know, this might seem like an easy smash because it's like, this is familiar, right? You probably know what you're getting into. But if we're jumping into a fantasy world, right? Do you want to just, you know, hop back out, right? No, like we've been there, we've done that. Do we need just like bigger humans? I don't think so. I mean, the muscle mommy, I'll give you that. The muscle mommy is good. But I don't know. It's like I have the same opinion about like playing humans in World of Warcraft. I want to be in the fantasy. If I'm gonna jump into the fantasy realm, I want to be in there. And maybe this would be a good like little tester, right? When you're jumping into the world of non-playable WoW races, smashing them left and right. Maybe this is a good tester one. But I don't know. My gut tells me, like, nah, this is just, it's just too much of what we've already had. And then finally, the last one, very controversial, princess, which I know she's not a race, but I feel like you cannot make a smasher pass without including princess from Maradon. Which I mean, everyone memes about it, right? They're all like, "Hell yeah, give me more of that princess. I want to be in that." Right? But like, let's break it down here, right? Gigafarts, absolutely. Don't know what's going on with the faces. A lot going on there. I mean, arms, multiple arms, that's fine. Not a huge deal there. Fashion choice, I mean, she's rocking it. Let's be real, right? The shoes in particular are incredible. But I think what really does it for me is the swagger, right? The confidence that she has. And I don't know if there's any other non-playable WoW race that has so much just like charisma to everything that she does, and or with what they do. And I think that if you're at a party and Princess comes up to you with that like that air of confidence that she has, like there's no way you're getting away from it, right? Whether you think you want to or not, you're not getting away. And so just lean into it, man. Just lean into it, have a good time. And so that's why easy. She might look disappointed in you, but that's just because she expects more from a passionate love, right? And we can always be better, right? That's one thing about each of us. There's always room to improve. That's it. That's all I've got. That's it's mostly been classic WoW, non-playable races, smash or pass. YouTube, if you liked that, hit subscribe. Come back for more debauchery and antics. I promise we don't do this every day, but if someone in the chat comes up with a good idea and it's something I can put together, then we'll put it together.